Hello everyone, it's been a while since I've posted a lesson, but I've been very busy. I'm sorry about that, but we're going to try to get some more going. And today I prepared a lesson about king and pawn endgames. So we're going to start out basic and then get a little bit harder. So let's start out with a common knowledge puzzle that everyone should know about pawn breakthroughs. So white to play, promote a pawn, in as few moves as possible, only moving the pawns. Alright, so the answer to this puzzle is G6. Classic pawn breakthrough. If a pawn does not take, the G pawn is going to take the pawn that didn't take and then promote. So, a pawn has to take. So let's say that the H pawn takes. The next move here is not a take. It's F6. Now, if the pawn takes, this H pawn moves forward and it becomes a passed pawn and it's going to promote. If you take the H pawn, this pawn's going to take G7 and then promote. And same can happen with the F pawn, just in a different order. So that is the basic pawn breakthrough. Alright, our next puzzle is another simple one, and we're just going to do one move. There's one move that gives white a clear advantage in this endgame. Alright, the move that we're looking for is F5. So it may seem weird, but you look at it, and the king cannot really do anything, and it wants to be on this F4 square and march up and kill these pawns, right? So F5 allows that. If the pawn takes, the king's just going to march up, and it's going to destroy these pawns. The black king is too far away. If it does not take, the king is still too far away, and white is going to end up doing just enough damage. It's going to push all these pawns forward and break through the structure and end up promoting eventually. So now let's move on from pawn breaks now to a different type of puzzle. So this time you can see that both sides can queen. White can queen next move, and then black can queen right after that. So I'm going to show you the first right move, and then I want to see if you guys can figure out the right checkmate. So, queen to h8, or pawn to h8 equals queen. And then black plays a1 and gets a queen. So you can already see that white cannot take this queen or it's a stalemate. So how can white win? Or can white win? Alright, so a lot of you guys were probably looking at things like moving the king away and then getting a checkmate. Obviously you cannot do that with the queen under attack. So first, move the queen to safety, to g8. Now, black has one correct move here that can stop that. Queen to a2. Again, you're trying to move the king away, but now that this queen's under attack, you can't. Otherwise, black would have a clear advantage, obviously. And if you take the queen, it's stalemate. So, now, the queen moves to e8. Again, trying to do the same thing. Queen to a4. Just like last time, still attacking the queen. The difference, though, is that now queen to e5 check. And now the king is forced in the corner. So now, in this position, if you did not get this far in your analysis, try to figure out how you can win. There's only a few moves left. So the right answer is queen all the way back to h8 where it started. Basically what you're trying to do is the same exact thing. If you move this king away anywhere, it's checkmate. So, now the queen cannot come down here to a1 this time because queen takes queen. Check. That's the difference this time. The king is now on the A file. So, in this position, the right answer is, for black at least, queen to f4. Now you can interpose. So, now the rest is pretty straightforward. You're not going to check, you're not going to move the king, you're going to check him down here. Queen to a1 check. And now, mate in 1 with queen a7. Common king and pawn ending, and in this position, black is up a pawn, and it is white to play and draw. So try to figure out what you would do as white. Alright, so the correct move in this position is king to f5, forcing opposition. You always want to try to take the opposition and get it for yourself. Now the king cannot move towards that pawn. The king has to move up or down. Now, some people might have said, well, king f6 wins a pawn. Or does it? King g4, and now black has the opposition, marching over towards the pawns, and black wins a pawn and is probably gonna promote the pawn if white does not mess up. So, king to f6 is bad. Do not take the poisoned pawn. So king f5. Now, king to h4. Again, this pawn is still a poisonous pawn. So, white keeps the opposition because it's too valuable to give up. King h3, king f3, king h2, king f2. Again, keeping the opposition. Now, f6. So now the white king is going to move and the opposition is going to be lost. However, king f3, king to g1, king to e4, king to f2, and again, this pawn is still a poisonous pawn. So, king to d5, trying to promote the pawn that white has. King e3, king to c6, and now, it's just basic common sense. Both players are going to promote the pawn to a queen, and this is a draw. So this position is also white to play and draw. So try to find the way that white can draw this game. Alright, so I'm guessing that most of you, if not all of you, guessed king to f1 to get some opposition. However, opposition does not work in this position. I know that goes against everything that you were told about endgames. You were always told, get the opposition. But you have to analyze further than just getting opposition. So if you get the opposition this time, king gladly moves up. Here, here. Now white moves here, let's say. King to e3. Push forward. King to f2. And now, black is going to promote the pawn and win. So, this time, opposition does not work. But it is a backward king move. King to h1. So now, if the king moves up to e2 to try to get at the pawn, simply king to g2. And now, white has the opposition. King e3, king to g3, and it's going to be a draw. There's nothing he can do. If he pushes one of these pawns, pawn just simply takes, and then the king can stop the other one, or they just keep on going back and forth because now white has the opposition. So, this is a basic pawn and king endgame, and it is clear that white should win. White's up a pawn and is going to promote one of those pawns. However, it's white's turn to move. And the tricky thing is, if it was black's turn to move, white would have a clear advantage. So, how can you make this position turn into black to move? The answer is a term in chess called triangulation. Triangulation is when the king moves in a triangle to basically pass the move. So in this position, king to c2, and let's say black does king to c4, king to d2, king to d5, and king to d3. Same exact position, however, black to move. So basically what happened was the king moved in a triangle. That's why it's called triangulation. And now it's black to move. So now, all white has to do is simply take the opposition, chase the king away, and white wins. So triangulation is an important thing in chess, because it happens in a lot of endgames where you have to move in a triangle shape to pass the move on. Because if it was white to move in this position and you did not see triangulation, black has the opposition. However, once you pass the move, it's now white to move, or black to move, and now white has the opposition. So now let's end off this lesson with a few basic pawn ending puzzles. So here's puzzle 1, white to play and win. So, as you can see, all you're doing is you're moving the king up. You're going to try to get the king out of the way for one pawn. So, h8 equals queen. King has to take, and now it's basic pawn ending rules. And white wins. Alright, here's another one. So, the solution to this one is g7, king to h7, and g8 equals queen. After the king takes, it's just basic rules, and white wins. Alright, this position is white to play and win. So, if you saw e5, you got the right first move. After that, king to d7, king to b5, king to c7, king to c5. Now white has the opposition. King to d7, king to b6, and now white is going to force the king out of protecting the pawn. And as you can see right here, white wins. So that's all we have for you today, guys. Thanks for watching. For more lessons, subscribe to our YouTube channel or check out the chess.com Powerful Pawns team, or visit us at our website and you'll find more lessons than we just have on YouTube. Well, you'll find everything. So thanks for watching. Remember, we always have more lessons coming. So subscribe. See you next time.